So, why and how did I stop drinking alcohol? This is a question that I get quite a bit. Obviously, only when people come to realize that I don't drink alcohol. I used to, and when I say I used to, I was a social drinker. So, I never was a drinker. My parents didn't drink growing up. It just was never a thing for me. But in my earlier 20s, everyone drinks when they go out. So I just kind of adopted the habit, right? Until I got to a point where I realized that I was using alcohol as a crutch because there were a lot of things that I didn't have self-confidence about, self-certainty about. But when I had alcohol or liquid courage, then I had a bit more confidence for these things. And examples of these things is socializing, being myself, talking to certain people, networking, things like that. There was a time where I would even drink to try to fall asleep better because remember at this time, burnout, depression, sleep was poor, confidence was low, self-esteem was low. So alcohol assisted with those things. Now, on my journey to recovery from burnout, from depression, I started to realize the strength of the mind. And so there were still a few things that were lingering even after I was recovering from the burnout and depression through the strength of the mind, or through improving my mental fitness. And one of those things was social anxiety, and like confidence. So I took it upon myself to say, no, I'm not going to live the rest of my life feeling like I need to depend on a substance to be a human or to socialize and to do things that I should normally be able to do, right? I do believe that as humans, we were made perfectly. I do believe that the mind and the body are perfect machines, but if you do not work with the machine, if you don't give the machine what it needs, if you do not maintain the machines, they will not work for you, and then you will think that they are broken, but actually it is us that is faulty, us that are faulty. Yes. So, so what I did was I started forcing myself into those situations that I was initially unable to enter without the assistance of alcohol, sober. And yes, it was scary. And yes, sometimes I had to prep myself for an entire week before doing that. But once again, when you put yourself into uncomfortable situations, whether it's emotional, social, doesn't matter. Every time you intentionally enter uncomfortable situations that require mental strength, emotional strength, you are strengthening that muscle. These things are muscles. And just like in the gym, the first time you lift a weight, it's going to feel horrible and you might not want to come back to the gym. But someone who has mental fitness is able to understand that, yes, this is uncomfortable now to my past system or version of me, but if I continue to put in those reps, I will get stronger. It doesn't feel good now, but in the long run, I will get stronger. And not only will I get stronger, but I will also be able to increase the weights that I'm lifting, right? Or in other words, I'll be able to do harder things, mentally harder, emotionally harder, have those harder conversations, have those, let me not say harder, maybe say tougher conversations, have those, go enter rooms that it's tough for me to go into emotionally, or it's tough on my self-image or my self-esteem. But the more you put yourself under stress, right, the more that muscle breaks down. And the breaking down of that muscle feels very uncomfortable, but the breaking down of that muscle is what's necessary for the ultimate growth of that muscle. So now that we understand this, I think you can see that in life, the ball is always in your court. Are you willing to step into areas of resistance uncomfortably, painfully, right? Difficultly, with the understanding that this resistance, this pain is going to be my testimony, right? And now I think I've even lost count, but it's been well over a year that I have not touched alcohol, and I don't even have a desire for it. And so, yes, I was talking about alcohol, but this applies for many other areas, right? It's not just alcohol, but people will talk about addiction as if it's greater than them, but it's not greater than them. The only reason why something becomes an addiction is because you created the conditions for it to have a stronghold on you. But if you can reverse engineer that, right, and it's going to be painful, but if you can reverse engineer it, there's your freedom, there's your growth, there's your expansion, right? So whether this is leadership, whether this is relationships, whether this is addictions, it doesn't matter. It is not greater than you. You are greater than it. It can only be an addiction because you're in the equation. So if you choose to take the addiction out of the equation, you still remain. Does that make sense? So that is how I quit drinking alcohol, and I'm so glad that I did it. And on top of my love for fitness in the gym, now in addition to quitting alcohol and many other things that I've done, I have the evidence of knowing that I can do hard things. And once again, hard is a perception. What's hard for me is not hard for the next person. What's hard for the next person is not hard for me, right? So it's all a mental game. If you can improve your mental fitness, you will win every time.